welcome back everyone to the Spyrothon Spyro Reignite Trilogy Speedrun Celebration. As you can see, we have done 2 events of the 4 we have lined up for today. Next up, we have the Spyro Year of the Dragon, 117% by DrHouse. And the commentary will be done by Zic, who has obviously just finished his Spyro 200% core. He's going to have a real busy day today for Reignite Trilogy. So, Zic, I'm going to leave it to you. You are going to go count down for House and get him started on this run. Take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you're not tired of the sound of my voice yet. You have me all day today. So, yeah, we have DrHouse here with a 117% run, and I'll count him down and get him started. So, if you're ready, House, you can start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Spyro 3, 117%. So, taking a break from the chaos that was Spyro 2, 100%, we are now collecting eggs instead of orbs. So we got to get all the gems, we got to get all the eggs. So there's still going to be some backtracking, you know, it's going to kind of be a mix of what you saw in Spyro 1 and Spyro 2. Some levels are going to be completed in full right when he gets to them, and some of them we're going to have to backtrack. So here we go. Contrary to Spyro 2, we're back starting off in a home world. This is Sunrise Spring. So How's going to start off here by just gathering a few of the gems around Sunrise Spring. Before gathering our first egg of the run already, we have Isabelle. So there's a little cutscene outside of Sunnyvale here. You can't really skip that Bianca cutscene. So you have to just get it. If you can technically hover over that Bianca cutscene to get into Sunnyvale, but when you come out, she'll still get you. So you have to get it at some point. So here we are in the first level of the game, Sunny Villa. Now, Sunny Villa is going to be, I know it's the first level, but we're already going to have to do some backtracking in Sunny Villa because of the Spyro 3 has the partners, and so the partners have their own little sub-levels inside of the levels. So Sunny Villa has a Sheila the Kangaroo section. We don't have Sheila the Kangaroo unlocked yet, so we're going to have to come back to do that, so we might as well. House is going to be skipping certain sections of the level. We'll hit them on the revisit. So that's our first end of level egg. Unlike Spyro 2, you don't get talismans or anything fancy at the end of the level. You just get more eggs. After getting the end of level egg, House is going to come over and do some skateboarding. This is the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remake. Trust me on that one. But make sure to watch some of these skateboarding sections. They're really interesting to see how they're optimized in getting the gems and the lizards in an optimal amount of time. A lot of sharp turns, a lot of kind of cheating some of the ramps. Some of these jumps may look easy, but I mean, the skateboard can be finicky. One wrong move and Spyro's gonna crash and burn. Dylan's waiting for best egg, which is what? George? Or Nelly? I think you mean Nelly. But yeah, so in a lot of these sections where he's going to be getting the gems with the lizards, you can kind of just see how much movement he has in the air. And he's going to time a lot of these to hit, like at the end, there are multiple lizards in one flame. Because some of these lizards are on a cycle where they're running circles around the area. So now he has to do Lizard Challenge 2, where you have to hit all 15 lizards and not crash. So he didn't get all the gems on the first pass because he's going to get the remainder gems here on the second pass through. Kind of just a good way to optimize the routing of the gems. A little bit of weirdness there with the skateboard. Yeah, he's gonna have to do both of these challenges to get both the eggs for Sunny Villa before we head on out and move on to some other levels. And like I said, we'll come back later to get the other eggs in Sunny Villa and the Sheila sub area. Oh, I think House missing a 1 gem there in the tunnel. Gonna have to take a second lap to get it. Sparks being a little lazy there. Yeah, the icon in the bottom right for the lizards is not okay. And with that, he's gonna exit the area through the pause menu, and then he can just exit level immediately and move on. So you may notice that House is playing on his trademark blue Spyro skin. There are cheat codes you can enter in the pause menu in Reignited to change the color of Spyro, or as you saw previously, give him sunglasses or such. So that'd be why Spyro is blue at the moment. Next up, what we're going to do here is Cloud Spires. Cloud Spires is one of the levels we can fully clear out now right here at the start. So he's gonna do a neat little wall glide there right at the start, combined with a perfect hover to get up to this section. We're gonna try and still avoid paying money bags, because there's a section here where you pay money bags to advance. But through the routing, we can, and using the hovers, we can skip all that. So he's just gonna get those gems in that upper section, because we're never gonna come back there again. And then he'll activate the bellows, so he can do a little hover here and skip right to, that was a beautiful hover, and skip right here to the Sun Seeds egg. If I say orb at any time, I'm sorry. It just came out of Spyro 2, everything's an orb. So a lot of these sub-area sections, you'll notice he's gonna be really trying to optimize doing the mission and getting the gems. So it's, not going to be just as efficient to just get all the gems, then do the mission. He's going to try and get some gems, do some of the mission, come back. So while this Sunseed has like a little path he's going to walk on, he's going to try and grab as many of the gems as he can before it gets to its place. But doing that hover at the start of the level there to get the Sun Seeds early is really helpful, because that gets you to Sun Seeds early. Coming out here, he's going to be able to get the end of level orb right after Lulu. So he'll get the end of level egg here from Fluffy, and then he can just cut to the left and get into the next sub area and get the eggs over here, which is a really quick way to just get 4 eggs. So just like that, we can get that egg, and then you can use this super fly gate to fly over. And since when you're super flying, you're moving at the same speed as you're moving much faster than you would on the ground, you can use that to really catch up to that thief and get him early. And Hal's just going to clean up some of the gems in the sub area and exit out and get the last few eggs in the rest of the world of Cloud Spires. Coming up, a little bit of weirdness trying to get that vase. Coming up, like I said, he has to do a little bit of cool movement here to skip some of the cycles and skip paying money bags. He's gonna do a really cool jump when he gets up to this upper area. I'll point it out when we get there. It's really impressive to see. First, he has to just drop down and get all of these gems. It's just a lot of gems to get here in 117. Whereas later today, you'll see in 80%, there's a lot less that our runners will have to get during the relay. So House is gonna come up top here. There is an egg up here to get, and then after this egg, this is gonna be a really cool jump that House is gonna do here. It's gonna kind of use this wall to maintain some height, and then use a very strange hitbox there, but you're able to kind of use that and get up to this area to get these last few gems. That was a beautiful jump. Last egg, Stephanie. Oh, that was actually really good. That egg has a very strange hitbox where sometimes you have to run around it a couple times before it'll actually register. I don't know if it's like tied to the death animation of the guy next to the egg, but that one sometimes you'll get it immediately or it just like is non-existent. So that was really good. Now, before House went into Cloud Spires, he started this little Hunter quest. So when he came out, Hunter was waiting for him, so he only has to do the next half of it to get Coltrane there. And then he'll come down. Is to clear out. Normally, you can just take this Superfly to the end to get the next egg, but he does have to clear out all these gems, so he's gonna have to take a second lap back to get the Superfly again to refresh that timer. So now we get our first partner of the run. Here's Sheila the kangaroo. This is what House did need before to clear out Sunny Villa, which we're still not gonna go back to yet. We'll come back to it later. But first we have to clear out Sheila's Alp to get all the eggs. So kind of the same from like Spyro 2, how you needed the talismans to move on. You do need to get like the end of level egg from the levels in the main worlds before you can use the whatever the transportation device will be in that world, whether it's the Whirly Gig or the rocket, etc. Now in 117 we're not gonna have to worry about that because he's gonna be pretty much getting every single egg in these worlds on his first go through. Sheila's Alp has a ton of just like these side areas blocked by rocks. Personally, I think Sheila is the best partner, at least in Reignited, to play as. I think Sergeant Bird handles like garbage. I think Bentley is way too slow. And Agent 9 is Agent 9. I just think Sheila, if we're talking partners, is probably the best playable support character. I was kicking the mountain goat instead of the rock there. Nice thing about these houses is they have these oh, getting pushed out of the way by the guy coming out. You can hit them from underneath. You don't have to jump on top of the mushrooms to stomp them with Sheila. In most cases, you want to try and take out all the enemies as quick as you can because the mountain goat won't move until all the enemies are taken out, including all the houses. Since DrHouse has a lot of gems to collect, it's not that big of a deal. I have to be careful there. I'm talking about houses, and we've got DrHouse as our runner. Don't worry, Randy. I said he controls awfully. So Sheila's help is complete. And now House can come out of Sheila's help and move on. The levels we have to do left, we have to do Seashell Shore, Molten Crater, and we have to do Mushroom Speedway. Later, once you complete the worlds, he's gonna have to backtrack to do the Sparks missions, which aren't available until you have beaten the boss, and then he can backtrack and do those, which is gonna kind of tie in with the backtracking that he's gonna do in the levels. It's kind of a good way for him to come back to these worlds. In some of the levels, he might have to backtrack in to get that Sparks mission. So we're gonna get into our first swimming level, Seashell Shore. Yo, Farney with the raid, thank you. Welcome everybody. DrHouse doing a Spyro 3 117% run for the SRT Showcase Marathon. So Seashell Shore, this is going to be an interesting routing decision in that you can do everything here, and he's going to do pretty much everything here. He's going to leave just a few. There's like one side area that would be a pain to backtrack to. So he's just going to leave that there and then come back when he goes to do that Sparks mission. Can do a neat little hover here coming out of the water. He's gonna do a hover to get back up onto the land in a much quicker way. Spyro 3 definitely utilizes the hover, maybe not as much as Spyro 2 runs do, but it's still very prominent in Spyro 3. An interesting decision here from House is he is playing on 50 FPS, which, as I said, if you were here for the Spyro 2 run, I kind of talked about how in the PC release of Reignited, the jumping height is kind of loosely tied to the FPS. So the lower frame rate you are, the higher you jump. So a lot of jumps become much more easy on 30 FPS rather than 50 or 60. You know, if you were at like 15 FPS, you could just soar over gaps, but we keep the minimum at 30. That is the minimum that the game lets you set it at. After clearing out a few gems, House is going to come in here and do this Sheila mission. There will be 2 eggs to get here. But other than jumping height, I'm not sure if there's any. I know that, you know, we talked in the Nos talked in the Spyro 1 run about how, you know, it seems that gems would home in a little easier on 50 or 60 FPS. There's no like game breaking glitches at any. Well, I'll hold that thought. You can kind of glitch out like Bugbot Factory in this game if you play on like unlimited. If you can get your game over like 200 FPS, you can have Sparks shoot at like every frame and just melt the boss in Bugbot Factory. So that's why we don't play on unlimited FPS. So House has 2 more eggs to get here. He has the Rhinoc Tunnel and the end of level egg, and he's just gonna get all the gems in between that. Yeah, Alpine Ridge does not work at 60 FPS. It amazes me to this day that still hasn't been fixed. But I don't think, other than, like I said, like the weird glitch you can get with Bugbot Factory, I don't think there's any like game-breaking glitch in Spyro 2 or 3 that you can get at any specific frame rate. Oh, and Bluto. Thank you. I forgot. You do this end of level, then you get Bluto. I always forget about that guy. Not at the end of the level. Now normally you can kind of go back there and there's a few gems at the beginning of the level, but House is gonna elect to just come up here to Pluto and clear this out. And then exit and we'll come back later. So here's Pluto. If done well, this can be a really fast egg. Sometimes he can kind of be annoying, but that's looking really good. House just made that look trivial. House doing a really good job here of managing these underwater or gems. The swimming mechanics in Reignited can be a little weird at times. really floaty, really kind of drifty, hard to control at times. So he's been doing a really good job at drifting just close enough to the gems that Sparks will home in on him or getting them himself. So now we have good old Mushroom Speedway. I kind of was talking about this during the Spyro 2 100% run, in that the Spyro 3 speedways feel a little more spacious, so it won't look as chaotic as, say, like a Metro Speedway or Icy Speedway from the Spyro 2 100% run. There's a lot more space to work with here. Also, you have this supercharge now that kind of actually like charges up the more you use it. So a lot of the times, you know, you want to try and stay on the ground charging as long as you can to build up that speed and get that really huge burst of speed. But in the speedways in Spyro 3, House is gonna have to do three things. He's gonna have to clear out the regular time attack speedway, and then he's going to have to do a hunter challenge. So for this one, it'll be the UFO sheep saucers, which he's gonna go get now, and then you have to do the race. So we'll have a little bit of downtime there while he does the race. So here's the UFOs. If you do this well, you can usually get a really quick cycle here. Looking really good so far. Get that back one. There's textbook UFOs right there. UFOs can be tricky. I know sometimes when I'm doing any percent, I like to not use the boost, just because I know a good cycle you can get with it, and it can get out of control. So here in the race, House gonna be needing to hit as many of these blue stars as possible to get ahead of all the butterflies. Not, you know, you could do as much as you can do here, but at the end of the day, you still are gonna have to do the 3-lap race. Telepathy, you probably got some classic Spyro Reignited Trilogy jank. I'm hoping the Draclet yeeting into space in Spyro 2 is the last awful glitch we get for the day from this game. There we go. House is overtaking his way into first place here. Just has to finish off the race in first, and he'll be done. I really don't like the eyes of the butterflies in Reignited. I think they're the same eyes that that Jack and the Cowlix have, and they're just really unsettling to me. So now that all the missions are done, we can exit Mushroom Speedway and never go back there again. So one more level that Hal's gonna have to go into here. We have Molten Crater. Molten Crater is going to be another one of these backtracking levels because Molten Crater needs Sergeant Bird. So we're going to have to come back here later once we get Sergeant Bird. So I believe what his routing choice is going to be here is he's going to get Riki here off to the left. He's going to get the end of level egg, and then he's just going to leave. And he'll get the Sergeant Bird eggs and the thieves later on the revisit. But he's at least going to try and clear out as many of these like offshoot paths as he can. You know, a lot of this backtracking stuff, getting the key to unlock the chest early. So a lot of the backtracking is done and out of the way, so he can just come straight to Sergeant Bird next time he comes into this level. All right, Molten Crater's done. So with that, all of the main worlds have been completed. He's going to elect to glide over the last NPC so he doesn't take him to the balloon. He can just go there himself because he had a few more gems to pick up and just a little faster that way. And he can go on to Midday Gardens. Before we get to Midday Gardens though, Buzz's dungeon. Buzz can be kind of difficult when reignited. Buzz also can have a chance to do weird things. Personally, my most hated part of Buzz is when Sheila decides to get in Buzz's way, and then he'll start spinning in place and just yeet himself towards you. Sometimes Buzz will just spin in place and just get completely stuck. But the idea here is, that was a little strange, that House is going to hit Buzz into the lava. Sheila's gonna hit him. He's gonna stand really close to the edge there. Ooh, Sheila kind of getting in the way there. Stand really close to the edge, little to the right. And then Buzz will go right around him. He can damage boost off of this fire that Buzz drops down, so that you don't have to wait for the fire to get away. You can just get hit and then charge through and knock Buzz into the lava. I think the thing I hate most about Buzz is this creepy, like, tentacle goatee. I could do without that. The last few hits you don't... Oh, okay, that was interesting. The last few hits you don't have to damage boost over the fire ring that he shoots at, because it disappears and the hitbox for it disappears relatively quickly because it goes into a fireball attack. And so just like that, Buzz is done. We get Grayson and we can move on to Midday Gardens. So here is where House is going to backtrack right when he lands in Midday Gardens. He's going to get these straggler gems that he left behind in Seashell, as it kind of would have been a pain to backtrack to here to get these at the end. Then he's going to exit because this puts him at a nice convenient spot to just go do Crawdad Farms. Something about the way the game just directly cuts to black when she's like, here's the egg for you. It's just really unsettling. So here's our first Sparks level to run. There's going to be a few of these where you get to play as Sparks. A lot of the times throughout these levels, other than this kind of tutorial section that House has to go through, you know, he's going to be avoiding the enemies or, you know, getting like the shield power up and just tanking through what he has to, just to get the gems as quick as possible, get to the end and get out of here with everything. Yeah, luckily he has a decent amount of health to work with here. May look scary at some points, him just moving an absolute load of enemies around the map following him, but he's gonna manage it pretty well here and just get the gems he needs to get. So these Sparks missions are where, as I kind of mentioned earlier, playing the game on unlimited FPS can sometimes break the Sparks missions, where Sparks can just fire at unreasonable speeds. So here is our first Sparks boss fight. Just gonna get the power up, melt him down, get the egg, and head on out of here. One down. Those missions can be a little bit of a lull sometimes because, you know, it's a lot of the same. Just grab the key, find the door, get some gems. So he's going to be getting these Sparks power-ups now from these missions. So now his Sparks can grab gems from further away, which at this point would be probably like the correct distance for Sparks to pick up gems. He's pretty lacking sometimes in the reignited version in picking up gems. So the level order here is going to be, you're going to notice, if you watch the relay later today, you're going to notice a level order difference here. First off, shout outs to Mingus here, top tier egg. But you'll notice a level order difference here versus the route you'll see later today in the relay, where they go to Enchanted Towers first. House is going to save Enchanted Towers to almost last. This dude on the cannon, sometimes, like, there he goes. He just goes nuts. He got off pretty well that time. Sometimes you have to wait for him to get off the cannon. He just starts spinning in circles, and it could be a pain to wait for him to stop. So House gonna have to use the cannons to shoot out all the vultures out of the sky to get the gems from them. And he's just gonna move on and get some of these gems. So Notch kind of talked about it when he was going over when Green was doing his 120% run earlier, in that the cannons in Spyro Reignited are interesting in that you can technically put in, if you were using a keyboard and a controller, you could put in multiple like right inputs and make the cannon go faster. And that's something you can do with a lot of these cannons here in Icy Peak, is kind of get those multiple inputs and make it go really fast if you're trying to spin it around quickly. To answer the question though, Telethia, Mingus is a close second to Noodles. Missing the first shot on the bird there, that's fine. Gonna come in here, use the cannon to shoot out a lot of these ice blocks so he can get the gems in these areas. There's a lot of neat skips and tricks you can do. Like you can use the cannon to boost up there to Maynard and whatnot. And as I said, we'll see that later today in the relay. But for 117%, a lot of, you know, like Icy Peak and a lot of these levels, we're gonna have to go down the intended paths because we have to grab the few gems along them. House selecting to use the cannon here to shoot out all those TNT boxes, which is a much faster decision than going up there and flaming them and waiting for them to explode. I'm having a little trouble shooting these birds, but he's doing a really good job with it. That was extremely unfortunate. Oh, if only could have got a little auto hover there. Unfortunately, with that death, House is gonna have to come back and reshoot all of these. Since he didn't pick up the gems from the TNT boxes, they respawn. It's very strange sometimes in Reignited, like some ledges I find it very more noticeable in Spyro 3, where a lot of ledges don't give you the auto hovers that some of the, like, you know, Spyro 2 and Spyro 1 will. I know there's an infamous one I always talk about in Bamboo Terrace that just Spyro will not auto hover on the ledge for the life of him. We want to talk about the exciting eggs. Here we go. I was just gonna have to wait for each of these hockey guys to come out. little bit of a finale here. And then he can get his egg. Gonna exit the area, and now House can wrap up the rest of the level. The thieves coming up here in Icy Peak, these are pretty good. I really enjoy that the thieves were programmed. So the first red thief, you can just get him early, and then the second thief, and it makes sense because of the supercharge, the way the supercharge things goes. But yeah, you can just go the other way, and he only goes one direction, so he'll just run right into you. Taos can just glide over here to this guy, get this. You have to do that one first though, because he'll move once you get the first thief. So he has to get the red thief first, and then just block the yellow guy off and flame him, and he'll get another free egg just like that. House just has to kill a few more birds, use a little more cannons to clean up the rest of the gems here in Icy Peak. Birds still giving a little bit of trouble. There we go. Oh, forgot to. Might have been from the death. Has to flame that rocket to break the gems on the other side before we go get our final gems and egg. Gets to show off that nice hover jump though. Now that Icy Peak's done, House is going to go unlock our second partner of the run, Sergeant Bird. Sergeant Bird, he controls kind of interesting in Reignited. The more you play with him, the more you kind of get used to it and realize it's not so bad. And you kind of get used to moving fast with them. It can be kind of jarring at first, though. Oh, missed a quick gem there. Paying Moneybags, as Moneybags has moved on in Spyro 3 to capturing animals for money. Sergeant Bird. So Sergeant Bird can fly around, and he has the rockets as his attack. The rockets have an insane ability to home on to things. Like, you barely have to be something doesn't have to be on the same screen. You can hit it with the rockets. They're kind of crazy. I know that. Yeah, I was gonna say this is Randy's favorite jam in Spyro 3. That was a good. You can kind of kill what you have to kill to move the hummingbird, and then get some extra gems before she gets to her spot. So that was really good that he was able to get a few of those 15 gems before the hummingbird comes back and teleports you. But yeah, that's the funny thing with birds rockets is they home on. But they home on to whatever they want. Got the end of level egg there with Bird. Now he has to clean up a little bit here with gems. Free the last of the hummingbirds. Now how it's going to be utilizing the rockets that you can drop from Bird to make a few of the things a little easier on him. As I said, it's sometimes easier to control just dropping a rocket straight down than trying to shoot it with his actual rocket ability. And drop it there to get that enemy in that mole. Drop it here so he can get a few of those. I actually did not know that the rockets could home onto dead things. Doesn't surprise me. As an... I'm hesitant to call it a feature. An interesting feature of Reignited is that enemies and such can, and fodder especially, can end up retaining their hitboxes like long after they've died. So sometimes you may see someone like bonk on literally nothing, and it's probably the lingering hitbox of an enemy. Or like, I know in Spyro 2, you can use fodder to knock the Earth Shapers into the lava because they keep their hitbox through the entirety of their like death cycle. I was gonna have to drop the rockets here to not only break open that chest, but open the secret passageway here. Finally freeing the last hummingbird, getting the egg, and that's where Sergeant Bird's base ends. Okay, whew. That cutscene scares me. Sometimes that cutscene can end up being unskippable. For no fault of anybody but the games. So every time I see a runner playing Spyro 3 and that they skip that cutscene, it's like a sigh of relief. So it's gonna clean up a few gems here, and yep, Spooky Swamp is gonna be the next level we go into. Spooky Swamp, I think, is a pretty good level. Spooky Swamp does hold one of the, you know, that we will be seeing here very shortly, one of the infamous eggs that people remember if they've casually played through Spyro 3, which is the Sheila escort mission. That guy giving House a little bit of trouble. Those guys can be very difficult. He handled that well. They just can be very tough to jump up there and get them with your flame like that. Yeah, so House is going to be clearing out Spooky Swamp all in one go, so it'll be interesting to see House do this escort mission with Sheila. Ooh, that was a close one there, getting hit right when he crested that edge. Luckily the piranhas didn't get him coming out of that water though. Pick up another top tier egg, Thelonious. I'll turn on the last candle and open the door. And now he can do the little boss fight. It's pretty as straightforward as it gets. Waits for him to throw the bombs, knock the bombs back at him. Luckily, they've got a fairly large blast radius, so he doesn't have to be absolutely precise, unlike the Spike boss fight coming up later, where the phase 1 rocks have a very like precise way you have to hit them to hit Spike. They're not very forgiving. That that was a thing that just happened. All right, well, Hal's gonna have to take an extra cycle here. That bomb doing what Spire Reignited does best sometimes. I always enjoy in some of these sections, they have these like hidden rock areas and the rocks don't despawn very well, so they just kind of block your vision. Luckily, these rocks on the ground that House is destroying, I believe, don't respawn ever, so you can kind of just, he can clear them all out now, and then it's just taken care of for the future. Whew. Yeah, I've always heard people say that they did find the escort, this little mission, easier and reignited than in the OG. I was able to go back now and get these gems that he opted not to get before because he's running out of time to get that rock. Because the rocks are still gone, so he has a lot more time to kind of go out and get some more gems. House doing an excellent job of managing his jumps there, getting over those trees pretty easily. Gonna wrap up here on the last few enemies he has to kill to get the gems. I'm just gonna finish up Spooky Swamp. His last few gems and eggs. So the next level that House is going to be going here to is Bamboo Terrace. But before he goes to Bamboo Terrace, he's going to get 2 of the eggs that are sitting out here in the Midday Gardens homeworld. And what's really nice about these 2 eggs is so he's going to get the flame power up and start destroying these pillars. But he's going to leave 1, obviously, there on the right as is. So he can shoot it, climb up, get Modesty, and then the fireball will hit the pillar, and then he can get Matt, getting him 2 quick eggs back to back like that. And he can just gather up the gems behind the portal and head into Bamboo Terrace. Now this is another level that he's not going to be able to clear completely right now because of partners. He's going to have to come back later in the run. So he's just going to do what he can right now to complete the level, clear out some of the eggs and gems, and then he'll come back and hit the other parts of the level later. There's a really nice trick you can do with the thief in this level where you can glide from the end of level to the bridge and then just wait for him and he'll just come straight to you. And you can just flame him as he lands. So here, House is gonna jump this gap, glide a little close to the edge to trigger the thief, and then he can just flame him as he lands. Get himself a nice easy egg and then head on out. So now it's time. If you missed skateboarding from Sunny Villa, it's back. We're heading on into Enchanted Towers. Enchanted Towers is going to be cleared out fully this time around. We have everything we need to do to get it. So we'll see the entirety of that level and get that over with now. Enchanted Towers skateboarding section can be interesting. In that, yeah, I've had it before where sometimes, like, so how it works is you get this Hunter tutorial where he teaches you how to do tricks and stuff, and then you have like a trick competition with Hunter. You can have it where the trick competitions or the tutorial sometimes, like, you can crash and then it just completely bugs out. Also, the trick competition, if you haven't seen the speedrun of Spyro 3 and the trick competition, you'll enjoy that. I was doing some really nice hovers there to get up onto this ledge and get this head bash chest. Doing another, that one's a really tight hover to get up here and get these ones. Those are really good hovers, actually. It kind of always amazes me that he can pull these off like this with playing at 50 FPS. Because as I said earlier, 50 FPS makes doing jumps and hovers a lot tighter than if you were playing on 30. So it's really impressive that he's pulling these off while playing at 50. Ooh, some unfortunate jumps there, slipping on that third stair. It's no problem though, he can get right back up and we can start some more Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remake. So what's nice about the tutorial is you don't fully have to go off the top of the ramp. He can just bug off the side of the ramp here, which saves some time in the air, time starting the trick and whatnot, and overall just makes this tutorial a lot faster. With the blue Spyro skin, you almost lose Spyro in the color of the ramp. House doing some nice stuff there, combining getting doing tricks with getting gems, which is again what he's gonna do here. Because he has to travel around and get these gems anyways, so he might as well do it while he's doing some tricks and getting some points. Now, it's something you can do in this trick, little trick game with Hunter is, and you'll see it later today in the relay race, is that when you hit a certain threshold of points, you can just give up, and Hunter will be like, "Dang, you're pretty good," and he'll give you the egg anyways. So this trick competition can be done within a matter of seconds. But again, House does need to get gems. We are getting every gem, so you might as well get a few of them while he's getting the points. Now he can do the give up, get the egg, and he's home free. House finally getting that enemy. I know he was trying to get that before the sorceress statue blew up. I will say, I do almost kind of miss the obnoxious sound that blowing up the sorceress statue makes in the original Spyro 3. I think that's a feature they should have kept. I think House doubting there for a second that the ball actually was in the right spot for him to hit the button. Classic, the second you turn around to check, it works. Very nice House dropping down in that hole to grab the last straggling gems right before the mission ends to give him the thing. Last little bit we have to do here. We have to finish good old Bone Dance. If you missed the Bone Dance orb in Spyro 2, you get it again right now. I know that a lot of these bones and such you can get as Spyro using hovers and such, but the fact that he needs to kill all these enemies, hit the balloons down and whatnot, it's all just a lot faster to do with Sergeant Bird. The crazier strats getting the bones comes out when you run Bone Dance category. The most prestigious category. House being a little careful there, just making sure that he has everything he needs before he grabs that final bone. Doesn't even let us see his dance, unfortunately. Unlike Spyro 2, which kind of locks you into it for a little bit. So he's gonna just do a little bit of a warping back to Midday Gardens using Guidebook, just as a nice way of fast traveling back to the whirligig without having to exit level and then have the NPC take you there. Gets the last little bit of gems he left, and we get to do Spike's Arena. Spike's Arena control you sometimes. I've always had the phase 1 is the one that always gets you, because sometimes it'll throw the initial rock right at his feet on the other side of the arena. Oh, that's pretty good right there. You'll see House hesitating for a second to really line that up, because the angle in which you hit these rocks has to be like exactly on. It's kind of silly how precise that charge has to be. Now that the rock phase over though, he just gets to follow Sergeant Bird around, get the power-ups. Spike's easy from here on out. So House waiting there for a second at the end of the fight for him to drop an extra power-up so he can grab it after the game would despawn all the power-ups. So this is actually a strat I'm not familiar with. I'm actually really interested to see this. This is a strat that came about for any percent for Spyro 3, in which you could do this in the Scorch fight to if you kill Scorch at the same time that a rocket would come down, you can take, if it's a green rocket, you can take the green rocket out. So I'm assuming House has essentially just taken one of the purple orbs into Evening Lake here. Yes, so the same way that, as I said, the green rocket strategy I talked about, this is how it also works with that, in that you get infinite ammo once you've stored that object. So he has this purple power-up orb, which now he's just infinite purple power-up shots, which he'll get to keep until he leaves the level. Normally, as I said, this strat is used for skipping to the end of level in Crystal Islands in Midnight Mountain, but it's really cool to see it used here in Charm Ridge to kill a lot of these enemies that are far away earlier. There's a lot of strats you can do in this level using the fireball to kill certain enemies earlier while you go do, like, for example, the bean egg. So you can shoot that NPC over there. He'll get this one too, so that he dies while the cutscene's happening. But he's gonna get that NPC over there so that it lowers the drawbridge. And then he's gonna come over here and do the Jack and his beans egg challenge. But this will leave that drawbridge as it is, so he can come back when he gets out of this challenge, and that drawbridge will still be lowered for him, which will be really nice. How's making excellent work of not only nailing these seeds really quickly, but also getting quick jumps off of the end of them, where normally you'd have to take a long bounce and usually even come back down to get the height again to glide. House is charging out of the initial bounce to kind of allow the game to let him to fly immediately, so he doesn't have to come back down for a second bounce in any of these mushrooms. Really absolutely wild strat going on right there, that he was able to skip the initial Jack cutscene and then go do everything he had to do and get to the end. And amazingly, I'm kind of amazed that it actually lets you. Then it just tries to catch up at the end once you finally moved Jack along. Interestingly, that big guy that kind of blocks the whirlwind, he's small, and then the spell gets cast on him and he gets transformed really big. If you charge into him at any point in his turning big animation, it still treats him as small, and you can still charge him even if he's like big, just finishing up the animation. This is an egg challenge where you get to see Sergeant Bird's missile homing in action. If House does this right, yeah, he won't have to take a step. He can just stand and just spam the shoot button. This is an egg challenge I always love seeing because it just looks so silly. Oh, unfortunately, one of the rockets didn't home in. He's gonna have to go up and get that. They made it harder on him now that he has to hover and spam rockets. There's a return in the mystery bottles. Yet again, personally probably not my favorite kind of mechanic in Spyro 2 and 3 of the mystery bottles. Especially when you're talking to speedrunning sense. Finally get to the end of the level, got everything you need, and then he has to backtrack the entire level. Luckily, in a lot of these cases, Sparks will home in on gems while, say, a cutscene's playing or something, so he can kind of utilize that to start a cutscene and then, say, drop down into a gap, so Sparks can start picking up gems while he's watching a cutscene. Cool. With that, he can head on out with all the gems and such. We can head on over to, I believe we should be heading over to Honey Speedway now. If you missed the speedways from Sunnyville, they're back. Sunnyville from Sunrise Spring. Not even at the relay yet. I'm losing my mind. So in the same boat as before, he's gonna have to complete the regular time attack challenge we all know and love, and then there's going to be a race and a hunter challenge he has to do. In Spyro 1 and 2, you usually see a lot of, doing multiple of the objectives at once. Spyro 3 is a lot more linear in the just regular speedway portion of it, and you kind of just do each challenge as they come up. I know there are some pretty, I know Ferorum has some pretty crazy IL strats for some of these speedways where you do multitask on a lot of them, and it can get kind of crazy. Sadly, unlike the UFO challenge from Mushroom Speedway, this hunter challenge is a lot slower. So the same deal as before, we do have to do a race here. Hal's going to be doing his best to get every single one of the star speed boosts as he can to just kind of get in first as quickly as possible and get through the race and get our egg. All right, perfect race there. House is now all done. Good old Honey Speedway. We can get on to some of the other Evening Lake levels. Evening Lake levels have, I find them kind of interesting. Some of the levels are some of the levels have some of my favorite spots in the game. Plus, the Evening Lake homeworld music is like, I don't know, probably one of my, I would say, at least top 5 music tracks in Spyro 3. Gotta be up there with like Evening Lake Hub World, Midnight Mountain Hub World, Frozen Altars. I don't know where I'd put the other 2 though. House, after getting all the gems, gonna get in the whale. The whale, we're gonna hope nothing happens here. Sometimes you leave the whale, whale looks fine. Sometimes the whale will just start spinning, and bad things can happen when the whale spits you out while it's spinning. Yes, the whale is peak jank man for Spyro 3. So now that we have a lot more stuff, you know, we've got more partners and etc. You know, a lot of these levels can be cleared in full a lot more now. So yet again, we're gonna be seeing everything here in Lost Fleet, including the beautiful, everybody's favorite Lost Fleet skateboard racing. I don't know if I've ever met a Lost Fleet fan. Most everybody I talk to while playing Spyro 3, they're like, I hate Lost Fleet. Might be the worst level I've ever seen. Yes, the skateboarding in this game, the racing, especially some of the stuff you can do in Super Bonus Round, you can really mess with the skateboard in Spyro 3. In weird ways that you can like bank the skateboard off of like the border of the area you're in, and it can just, or like do flips but hold them upside down and just get an insane amount of velocity. Yet again, we do, just like an Icy Peak, we do have to shoot birds out of the sky with the cannon. It was such a good idea that I thought we should do it twice. Yeah, I find it kind of amazing how with the skateboard, they just were like, if you skate along the walls, you just can, yeah, you can just maintain that height forever. And they're like, that's fine. House getting a little bullied by these crabs right now. Making it through just fine though. Unfortunately though, House can't completely go at turbo speed on the by turbo speed, I mean the absolute glitched speed, as he does need to be picking up a lot of the gems along the way during the race. Yes, I agree with Clock District. If you haven't seen, there are some ILs out there for Super Bonus Round and for Lost Fleet Skateboarding, and they're a good watch. after the runs are over today, if you're still looking for some good Spire reignited jank, those are a good watch. So House has enough boost in his skateboard here to last a lifetime. So he'll just finish up the race here, get his first egg. I fully support the beating up Hunter there, beginning of the race. Doing a cool little bonk for a turnaround strat there. That's really cool. Amazed it doesn't crash you for that. But in when in doubt, oh, there's one. I was gonna say when in doubt with the reignited skateboarding, anything's usually possible. I don't think I had the pleasure of experiencing how bad this apparently gets on console. There we go. Not so bad. Not too bad at all. Now House can continue escorting Crazy Ed here to the end of the level so he can get the end of level egg. And then all he has to do is swim through the acid and do the subs. There we go. House trying to do a little hover there. A little issues with bonking, but he got there. That was actually really good. It's a nice way to get back up there instead of going all the way back around. Oh, hitting the front of the boat with the cannon. Unfortunate. Gotta get another bird out of the sky. There we go. Bird can't dodge forever. Lost Fleet has some of the funniest dragon names for me for some reason. You get Craig, and then you get to swim underwater, and you get Chad. Two classic dragon names, Craig and Chad. Just the submarines, eggs. These can go. Usually, you can kind of predict where a lot of the subs will be or go if you hit the cycles correctly. So he's gonna try and probably get the two right here at the start. I think it got scared away. Sometimes though, if you kind of miss the cycles you're expecting, the subs can get out of control really quickly. Looks like the subs on the other side. I'll just have to meet him halfway. What's nice though is you can kind of So the sub will auto lock on to the other subs, and once all 3 rings have gone red, your missile you shoot will automatically hit it. You can kind of pre-shoot it ahead of the sub and hit him before it locks on, kind of speeding the process up. Just requires your aim to be really good. House has been getting a few of them, which is really nice. Right there, getting a good one. I think he was expecting that one to turn around. Oh, I can't believe that sub on the outer ring didn't get hit by that one missile. See if he can get him on the way out. Well, he's gonna have to do a little bit of chasing here to get these subs down. Ooh, that was a really good shot on that 6th sub. See, he might just... Oh, okay, I was gonna say he might just wait for the 7th to lock on, but he got a good shot there at the end. Now he has all his eggs. He's just gonna get this invincibility power up and clean up the last of the gems that are in this area. House did slip past that bottle. He's gonna have to go back to refresh his power up and get that bottle. Luckily, he's been very aware all run of any gems that either he slipped by or Sparks has decided not to pick up. He's been really good at keeping his gems on point. Interesting move there to exit level and just go back in so you can be at the start, right where the power up is, or right where the last few gems are. So House is going to be on his way to the next partner of the run, which is Bentley. But first he's going to clear out a little bit of Evening Lake here, just picking up some of the gems, getting the Evening Lake eggs around. He's going to have to do a tight hover to get Hannah. Which he's going to opt to grab the ladder just to be safe. Didn't know if he had the height there. After that, he can swim, dive right underwater, and pay money bags the 1,000 gems. Unlock Bentley's outpost. So Bentley's outpost has one of my favorite things the Spyro Reignited Trilogy on the PC has to offer, and that is the silly cutscene transitions. When you hit the, just pay attention when you hit the, when House hits this gong. They did a beautiful job at just not even confirming that the whole game is in the same aspect ratio. That happens at every single gong cutscene, every time. They're just locked in 4x3. It's amazing. House hitting some really good cycles here on these seals. How fast you do Bentley's outpost a lot of the time can be based on how quickly you can get those seals. and how quickly you're hitting the totem poles between getting the seals. A few more of those cutscenes for us. Beautiful. Some interesting glitches that I've had here. I've had Bartholomew not jump on the boxes. He'll like fall. Okay, good. Sometimes he'll fall between the boxes and he'll get stuck there. And you have to like push the box out of the way, and then he'll just like ascend over both boxes and end up at the end of the level. But after getting all the eggs, House just gonna run around the level here. Good old slow Bentley, and just finish up getting all the gems needed to be done with Bentley's outpost. Bentley's outpost is always a really good source of gems. There's a lot of chests that you have to hit with this hammer that will spew out, you know, multiple tens. Which in a run where gems matter, like gem count matters and whatnot, you can really correct some of your gems in Bentley's Outpost. I find Bentley's Outpost and Frozen Altars to be two good levels to kind of correct gems. Which, speaking of one of my favorite levels and songs in Spyro 3, Frozen Altars time. Minus Yeti boxing, like, what a great level. The music's great, atmosphere's great. I love the ducks, penguins, they're great. It's a shame. Usually you can do a lot of cool skips and tricks in this level using the, you know, the frost breath to freeze enemies and NPCs and such, but he needs to kill all the enemies to get all the gems. Ooh, having a little trouble with the jumps that, you know, might just be a cause of playing on 50 FPS. Like I said, it's very impressive that House is doing a lot of these jumps on this higher frame rate. Doing a little bit of a nice hover, getting up to this area to get these one head bash chest, but it has a lot of gems inside of it. After getting Cecil or Cecil, whichever you prefer, we'll head on up. Ooh, that's a nice hover right there. Use this wall, hopefully nice. Sometimes Spyro likes to auto hover on that wall, and that can be really annoying. So here's Bentley boxing. How's gonna switch down to 30 FPS here. And so the trick to Bentley boxing is just press square and then X and repeat until you win. This can be done for both rounds. So you're just gonna see how it's gonna do a high shot and a low shot and just keep repeating. Easy wins both times. So yeah, normally this is like the second fight is supposed to be a like multi-round fight, but using the classic X square strategy, we can end this man's whole career in one round and get Bartholomew's ball. House going back to 50 FPS after the boxing strategy. I actually didn't know that that was a 30 FPS thing. The more you know, am I right? But House, a man of the people, sacrificing the jump height for the smoothness of the 50 FPS. Enhancing the viewing experience. Now here's an egg for ya. Some cat hockey. I like the freezing the guy right at the end. Look at these chonkers. I like the cats. If you hit them right away, you can get them stuck in their running animation in the ice block. That cat getting him a little stuck there. He's gonna have to come back around for it. Pretty sure there's like a glitch you can do in this area where you can like freeze things and knock them up over the railing of the arena. There's an egg that's gone way too soon. We'll miss you, cat hockey. Way better than hockey in Spyro 2. House is killing it right now. He's having, this has been a really good run so far. Just like that, all the gems done with frozen altars. He just has a little bit more and he'll have wrapped up Evening Lake. Shoutouts to another great egg, Stooby. What would we do without Stooby? Fireworks Factory, whew, has the best egg in the game. He's coming. House is so close, but he's got to get these gems first. He's teasing us with the joy of noodles. Now, Fireworks Factory is going to be a level that House is going to come back to finish, because you do need Agent 9. Now, there is a known way to get into Agent 9 early, but it's not necessarily faster than just backtracking and getting it. You have to, like, the way I've done it is, like, you have to load into Twin Dragons and then get the Superfly ability and then, like, height cap break out of it, and you can fly in there. It's very convoluted. It takes a long time. There he was. Came and went like the wind. There goes my hero, Noodles. The House is really trying to save a lot of these rockets to kill these big guys, which kind of limits him on how much he can use his flame ability to kill enemies. So he has to be really careful. It can be tough. You just want to instinctively flame enemies when they drop down on you, but he has to keep that rocket. So I was gonna backtrack here. Ooh, he's gonna go grab another rocket. Luckily, they just keep respawning. That's much more straight. Now he's gonna want one more rocket. So that he can bust open some of the locked metal containers. Nice hopper to kind of get back from where he was. So there's this metal container. That's why you kind of grab that extra rocket there. Then I'll head on into the side area and get good old Sam. There is a cool way you can get this egg without doing any of this. I won't spoil the surprise because that'll be in our relay later, so stay tuned for that later if you want to see that trick. But House does need to get everything, so we're gonna be going through this as we should, getting all the gems. Ooh, unfortunately taking a little hit. That's okay. On the rebound of that rocket. After getting the egg, House gonna backtrack. There were 2 gems there that, right, he had to light the guy on fire and then he let him blow up while he moved on. He's gonna come back for it later. Now we can finally get that end of level. It's unfortunate that Agent 9 is right below us, but we gotta have to come back later. So he's gonna warp the Evening Lake here with the guidebook. It's just faster. He'll be closer to the rocket ship this way. He can jump on in here and go fight Scorch. So Scorch usually can be a pretty brutal boss fight. Using some nice kind of movement here, sticking under him as much as you can. You can kind of get Scorch locked in shooting fireballs instead of shooting eggs and enemies, which makes this fight so much faster. So what Hal's gonna do is he's gonna stand right underneath of him. He'll shoot the fireballs, and then he wants to hit Scorch before he moves on from his path. That will keep him locked in this perpetual flame throwing state, which is going to make this fight so much faster. So that Crab was waiting for him. What's interesting about a lot of the enemies in this fight is pretty much if they're not on screen, they don't exist. Oh, I think he's going to miss this cycle. Oh, you still got the fire though. That's really good to see. Oh, you might miss this one too. Yeah, you got some eggs. It's tough with the red missiles because you really have to be on top of it. The green missiles, you know, you can... Oh no! How's gonna take an unfortunate death there? The TNT guy hitting his last sparks and then knocking him into the water. We'll have another chance of seeing how set up this kind of stun lock here with Scorch. Again, it can be really tough with the reds because of how they trail behind him. You have to be like getting that horizontal shot. You have to start shooting right away. If he gets too far ahead of you, you're not gonna be able to catch up with the reds because they don't really like home in on him. Whereas the greens, since they home in on him, you can shoot him at any time. That's just why you don't want the eggs to just ever spawn. You just want to stick with the good old stun lock here. One more hit here. Doesn't have to do any shenanigans of like stocking a green rocket or anything, so he can just finish him off and get on out and unlock Midnight Mountain. This would be a point kind of like what he did in Spike. You can kill Scorch at the same time that Bentley would give you a rocket, and if it's a green rocket, you could pick it up before you get in the rocket and take it to Midnight Mountain with you. But that's not needed for 117%, so maybe we'll see that later today, but for now we don't need it. So this is where the route's gonna get interesting. I was gonna click those initial gems. This Bianca cutscene, you technically can skip it. You can jump from the rocket room to these stairs and get over it, but it can be really tricky. And the hitbox for that is just humongous. So it's almost just not even worth going for, because you'd have to jump over that whole island every time. But so this is where the route's gonna get interesting. House is gonna start doing a little bit of backtracking. He's gonna come back here to Bamboo Terrace. Do a few of the things that was missed before. Then he's gonna do just a few, like, you know, he's gonna do a speedway, some Sparks missions. And then we'll find our way into the Sorceress's lair a lot sooner than you probably think we would. I won't spoil that though. For right now, we have this beautiful rail shooter, which those pandas definitely are not actually holding on to the ladder. When he gets close to them, you can kind of see they're just like floating in front of the ladder with an animation. They couldn't have slid them like 1 inch closer. They just ascend, kind of like these enemies just spawn from the ether in the sky. I don't know, I just find the Bentley areas to be very slow at times. Granted, that's kind of a thing with a lot of the partner levels. Brubeck. What a dragon name. Yeah, they kind of do feel kind of like a chore. Back to, yet again, one of my favorite things ever, mystery bottles. They're back. I was going to do a nice hover there just to get that mystery bottle without actually going up to that ledge. That was very nice. The hover gives us a lot of power in this game. I'm just saying, Stepkey, some of the dragons have really good names, some of them not so much. Who's your favorite dragon egg and why is it Noodles? Yeah, I think Thelonious, my top 5 there, with Noodles, Mingus, Stubby. There was one of those instances where I talked about earlier, how it kind of looked like he just bonked on nothing. There's like lingering hitboxes everywhere a lot of the time. Ooh, how's missing a gem here? Gonna at least have this Sparks Finder to show him where it's at. Not too bad. Found that relatively quickly. So since he had to backtrack for Bamboo Terrace, it's a good time to start finishing off Midday Gardens. So we have another Speedway level, another Time Attack, another Hunter Challenge, and then we also still have to go through these Sparks levels of Midday Gardens and Evening Lake. Those cows are like horrifying, by the way. Not a fan. So we get to do this riveting hunter minigame where we get to shoot out sheep, saucers, and cows. I mean, why do we have animals from space in the first place? Well, Spyro aided the war that the professor clearly started in Spyro 2. And I'm amazed I went through a whole Spyro 2 run without even going on about the hot spin-off game, Corporal Glug's Big Adventure. The Spyro prequel we all needed. Oh, like coming out of the hunter mission and going into the race looks like light speed. It's kind of disappointing though that the recurring characters from Spyro 2 to 3, at least NPC wise, you know, we had Handel and Gretel. Why Handel and Greta, and why not, you know, Corporal Glug? Why not Lumpy from Skilo's Badlands? Why not all the farmers from Robotica Farms? I need more on my fields. That's fair. Makes a lot more sense for those two to just be the out of place characters. Oh, true. We do have Bone Dance. How could I forget about Bone Dance? Shoutouts to Shemp. So one more thing to do. God, that cut still, I think it's so weird. Way too hard of a cut. It should at least fade out. One more thing to do here in Midday Gardens. We gotta do the Sparks level. It's been a while since we saw the Sparks level. They're still here. Same deal as before though. Hal's gonna avoid a lot of the enemies, just kind of go around them and getting these gems and get to the end as quick as he can. House doing a great job here, just managing. May have a giant horde of spiders behind him, but he's doing a good job of managing his health, getting all the gems. There's our big spider boss fight here. I was gonna have to do a little bit of a 3-cycle here. Ooh, oh, having one tiny little hit left. There we go. Getting the egg and heading back to Evening Lake. Not done with the Spark Souls yet. Starfish Reef now. And then we can head on back to Midnight Mountain where we were before. Start clearing out a lot of the things in that home world. Thank God Sparks can take a little more than 3 hits in these levels. You know, you can see it's helping House do a lot of strats where he's able to just kind of tank hits and use his head to just plow through hordes of enemies. That poor manta ray doesn't stand a chance. Wow, so almost has all the Sparks power-ups here now. He can head on over to Midnight Mountain. And how's actually the minimum requirement for getting into the final boss? Kind of like how in Spyro 2 we were talking about how the minimum requirement is having 40 orbs. 100 eggs is the minimum requirement. So House now has more than 100 eggs. So he can just get this over with right now. Welcome to the Sorceress's Lair. This way House can defeat the Sorceress, get this over with, and then he can focus on, you know, the last Sparks mission. He can focus on some Agent 9 stuff. House showing off here, going to the outer ring with Agent. Just hanging out with Agent 9. So the Sorceress fight's gonna be broken up into 3 parts. You have the first part, which was that stationary cannon that House just did. You'll have the second part, which he'll be getting here very soon, which will be the moving tank, and then finally there will be a UFO phase. You can't get more hits in than is allowed with each. So like you can't, you know, prep an extra shot with that stationary cannon to get a 3rd hit in or something. You're only allowed to get the hits you get in, and then it'll take it away from you. So see, House is only able to get those 3 hits in, and then it takes the power up away because it wants you to go through those phases. That's gonna chill, wait for that attack, and then he's gonna use the UFO here to get the last few hits and finish off the Sorceress fight. Kind of just inching his way off the arena to kind of reset the Sorceress, and boom, just like that, get rewarded with George the Dragon.
Now, how many
Alright, Sorceress defeated, but we're not done yet. We've got a lot more collecting to do. I find that for some reason you could have kind of seen it there. That wasn't exactly the stream lagging. The game lags when you go behind the Haunted Tomb portal. I don't know. I'm telling you, the secret to Sorcerer's Skip is back there. There's something back there that shouldn't be there. There we are. We have our final Sparks mission. We have Bug Bot Factory. House really taking it risky here with the low health. It's always really satisfying though, seeing him take just a horde of enemies to a shield power up and then just blasting through them all with it. House making short work of that boss and ending the Sparks level right there. They're going for all the fears and the spark souls. You have the spider farm, you've got the centipede boss, and then, I don't know, starfish. I'm sure somebody might have an irrational fear of starfish out there. So yeah, now with all the Sparks upgrades, Sparks is just a monster who can just get every gem for you without even trying. That whirlwind scares me every time. I don't think that whirlwind will ever not scare me. House can now get all his money back from money bags here. And an egg. There is an egg that Moneybags is gonna sell for a fortune because he has no shame. He's moved on from keeping animals in captivity and now he's just selling eggs into slavery. All right, let's do some Midnight Mountain levels. We'll start up here with Desert Ruins. Oh, it's gonna be oh, so close. It says an end of level trick you can do here. Nice job. I was gonna say it's gonna be a little difficult for him being on 50 FPS, but he did that beautifully. All you have to really do is hit this trigger at the end of the level to get Laura Croft here to come out for you and give you your egg. So it's a beautiful way for him to get to the end of the level really quickly and get that egg. Yeah, Randy, you probably have like 45 minutes to an hour max. Beautiful way to end that spot there, getting that metal chest and then meeting the final shark there at the end to get the last shot. I was just gonna clean up with his now overpowered sparks. It's always amazing. If somebody runs Spire Reignited 3 any percent, you never get to see a lot of these angles of the level. Since Desert Ruins comes after Crystal Islands, if you're not doing any sort of rocket storage shenanigans, you just rush the eggs. House doing some nice glides here, utilizing the walls to kind of maintain his height so he can extend his glides as long as he needs to get around some of these corners. Gotta do this side-scrolling Sheila game here. Making sure to not, you know, jump over any of the enemies because you gotta get every single gem. This is definitely one of the spots where I always get tripped up by Sheila's kind of super jump ability. when you're trying to meet some of those cycles, you might rush it sometimes and get, because Sheila has her double jump, but if you jump right when you hit the ground, you get the super jump. So it can be tough sometimes. So there's that large jump I talked about. It's all about managing your jumps here and meeting these cycles of these lowering platforms as best you can. Luckily on a lot of these like fiery platforms, even if the platform is completely on fire, if you kill the enemy that's making the fire, you won't get hit. So it's kind of a nice way if you see you're gonna land on some fire, just to quickly kick with Sheila to knock the guy out so you'll be safe. Nice, got all 700 gems there. He's gonna head out. And we may have all our gems back and everything, but we still gotta go do Agent 9's lab. So that's where I think House is gonna end up next. Gotta go clear out Agent 9's lab, get the gems, get the eggs. Get to see our first bit of Agent 9 action. Now, for better or for worse, there's no way to rock Agent 9 back and forth. And oh no, Hal's got a little bit of a glitch there where sometimes the professor just won't talk to you. He's gonna have to restart the level to hopefully correct that. This happened to me on my first playthrough of the game, and I was just like, well, maybe I won't do Agent 9's lab. Maybe I'll just go do some Agent 9 side areas. So yeah, he got a little glitch there where the professor won't talk to you, and there's no way for him to talk to you. Oh no, did he get it again? Alright, I think he's gonna warp out and come back in. It's always stuff like this that amazes me with this game. It's like, this isn't like something that's like, oh, we were speedrunning and we, loaded 3 levels in the background and the game crashed. It's like, no, I was playing the level and it just didn't work. It's amazing there wasn't like a day 1 patch for some of this stuff on PC. I'm not sure if this is a thing that occurs on console. Professor is just not having it today. Yeah, 3 in a row. I mean, that is just incredible. All right, this is the one. I feel it. I believe, guys, this is gonna be the one. There we go. That's the one. We did it. We advanced through the level the intended way. Yeah, so because of these all the Sparks levels he did, every Sparks level you do, you get a little power up for Sparks, and so by the end, Sparks is insane, and he's got an insanely high range and can take more hits, and he can hit baskets and bases for you now after the completion of Bug Bot. Oh, House did a little jump there, and I got really scared. I thought the professor bugged out again. I don't know if he can do it anymore. I've only ever seen it on that first door, but nothing would surprise me at this point. But yeah, as I was saying before, you know, the professor rudely stole the show. For better or for worse, there's no way for us to, like, you know, wiggle Agent 9 and get him to gain some insane amount of speed. Agent 9 is how he is. Which honestly, you know, he moves at a reasonable pace, unlike Bentley. That Rhinoc. Oh my, okay, I was gonna say that Rhinoc is dodging every shot. I was pretty impressed. Oh no, this guy. Shoutouts to the professor for finally showing up to the run. Beautiful damage boosting there by House. Getting that nice height out of it. We can still skip from end of level to the beginning of the level here in Reignited by doing some little bit of damage abusing there. Watching Agent 9 go flying out of the water. And there we go. And here we are, 2.5 hours later. We're finally going to the first level of the game. Welcome to Sunny Villa, everybody. Vanessa's been waiting there a long time for this moment. It'd be interesting to look into a lot of more of these levels, because some of these levels, like, I know for a fact, a lot of these sub areas in the actual levels, Like, so the partner areas in the home worlds don't unlock until you purchase them. There's no way like an OG to like fly into the portal from out of bounds. But the sub areas, like for example, the Sheila area in Seashell Shore is actually located under the level, and we'll see a skip for that later today. But it'd be interesting to look into some of these levels to see if it's possible to skip into like Sheila early in Sunny Villa in a reasonable way. Because like I said earlier, there's a way you can skip into Agent 9 early in Fireworks Factory because the portal can exist, but it's just, it takes so long to do, it's not reasonable. I've also found the Agent 9 portal underneath of Dino Mines before, but I just don't know how to get out of bounds to get to it. If there's one thing with this game, is that a lot of things can be inconsistent sometimes. Like, I've never been able to find the Sergeant Bird portal out of bounds in Molten Crater. It's like some partners areas, some sub areas you can find early and some you can't get into early. It's not like every time they move them under the level or every time they despawn them. It's very pick and choose. Nice. All right, done with Sunny Villa. We're gonna go wrap up that Sergeant Bird mission I talked about like 2 hours ago. He also does still have to do the Molten Crater Thieves, which not my favorite thieves in the game. It's just like the first thief can be very slow if you miss them, which can be annoying. First, we have another Sergeant Bird section. One of the eggs here is really quick to get. One of them's gonna take a little bit of time. Gotta rebuild all these guys first. I enjoy that you can kind of just put their heads close in any direction, and it's just good enough. It'll find its way on, it'll spin itself on. Having large sparks range here though, especially, you know, when trying to control Sergeant Bird and his missiles, having large sparks range here can help a lot in picking up these gems and getting some of these baskets that you might not want to fly down and turn around for. So a big advantage, if you're not super familiar with Spyro 3, a big advantage of waiting to do things until after the sorceress is you don't have to talk to moneybags, which is, you know, saves in time in general, just not having to go through that dialogue. So all these sub areas that you would have to pay moneybags for are now unlocked. There's one more thief to get with some nice jumps here, 1 and 2. There you go. He can get Kermit a little faster there. And now he's just gonna use Supercharge to clean up. And man, the Supercharge with the long sparks range again, really coming in handy here. Not really having to aim, just charge in the direction of gems and you'll get them. Perfect, let's head on over to Fireworks Factory. He's gonna now have to clean up here. He should be able to do a nice little skip here to get into Twin Dragons early. Little hover, nice. One more hover here. Perfect. Just a nice way for him to get into Twin Dragons early. And now he's gonna have to do the Twin Dragons egg here. which in reignited casually can be a massive pain. And then after Twin Dragons, he still has to go do Agent 9 stuff. So you have a little bit of time to hang out here in Fireworks Factory. So an interesting note, I kind of talked about earlier when I talked about, you know, oh, you can do Agent 9 early. If you were here for the Spyro 2 100% run, we talked about, and technically the 120% run, we talked about height cap breaking. So like every level has a height cap that you cannot, so you can't just super fly all over the place. But we have a way that we can get through that height cap. So this is where I said, like, this is one instance of the game where they give you a super fly power up, and the sub areas are just like off to the side of the main level. So you can come in here, get the super fly power up, and then height cap break out of here and fly back into the regular level to keep your super fly. Now it's not as straightforward as it seems, because some of the stuff is despawned because it like creates a different instance coming into here. But you can get to Agent 9 early doing something like that. House doing a really good job here of just knowing where the dragon's going to be next and getting a few quick shots in. Oh, come on, you gotta just get one more. Oh, he's gonna have to meet him on the other side. That's fine. Beautiful. That was really well done. The Twin Dragons can be a massive pain. He made that look much less frustrating than it is. All right, he's got that out of the way. That's good. So now he can use this cannon to get himself all the way back to where he was, so we can get to Agent 9 much faster. You can kind of see ways you're intended to get to Twin Dragons there, but, you know, hover mechanic is just too good. So here in the Agent 9 mission, he's got to get to the end as quickly as he can. Beautiful, getting himself a nice little upgrade there. He's got to get to the end as quick as he can. There's two eggs here. There's one just waiting for him at the end, and then Handel's gonna get caught, and then he's gonna have to go back to the beginning to save Handel. Of course not. Doesn't Spyro your favorite FPS game you've ever played? Doom guy is Agent 9 confirmed. Yeah, Sparks is actually completely not functioning. I'm actually not sure if you're supposed to have Sparks and extended Sparks here, or if it's a glitch. Sparks is just taking the day off here. See, I'd believe it knows, but that would require Sparks to work in the first place. He only works after you beat Bugbot Factory. Remember Midnight Mountain? We're finally coming back. So the routing, once you get Midnight Mountain, gets really cool in that you're kind of jumping all over the place, doing things. Sparks is back too. Ah, yes. In the first room with Agent 9 there, you can look up into the ceiling and you can shoot an object at the ceiling, and yeah, you get a skill point and you get the hidden weapon upgrade. Which is why he was able to shoot so incredibly fast. Crystal Islands, another pretty good world, home to all sorts of good eggs. And whack-a-mole. That's also a thing. I've messed around in this level a little bit because I was trying really hard to find like an end of level skip. Oh, that's unfortunate that he missed that hover there. Luckily, he gets a nice checkpoint with that egg. We'll give it another shot here. Second tries the charm. Yeah, there's some interesting things in this level, like the water here kind of like extends out about like off the level a bit. If you like jump off the level, you can kind of catch the water plane. It's a shame we can't do any like swim in air shenanigans with it or anything. Right there, just walked across the 1,000 gem bridge. That brick of a bridge is worth more than almost anything in Spyro. Quote unquote magic trick. Lost, I could buy an Australian kangaroo and a war veteran penguin for that price. Or a magic trick. Don't need to know the answer to the age-old question. You think Sergeant Byrd fought against Corporal Glug in the war? You think Sergeant Byrd was part of the war? So here's everyone's favorite egg game, Whack-A-Mole. So this is whack-a-mole in Reignited Trilogy. You can hit them a few times. Kind of going along with that sentiment of things don't despawn, like things don't lose their hitboxes or really any part of them until they're fully off the screen. So yeah, House can just beat on like a single mole and get 3. Oh, getting a good quick thief there on that plane thief. You can do kind of a quick turn and get that plane thief without actually doing the flying thing. He is going to use the flying power though to get these speed bursts so he can go get that 10 gem, and then he'll come over here and get one more egg. Yeah, no, so all you have to do is just completely bully one of them. Beautiful Crystal Islands. So we have just a few more levels left. So I think House is now gonna bug on over to Haunted Tomb. Another pretty cool level. I always like the aesthetic of this level. Wasn't ever a fan of the tank minigame, but the aesthetic of this level is nice. So yes, House is going to attempt to hover onto this torch. Again, very impressive that he's going to do this on 50 FPS. Just close. It's very finicky. It's got kind of a rounded hitbox, but there's just a point you can stand on. This will let him skip right to the end of the level. There he goes. Nice job. Now that gets him not only access to the end of level egg, but it also lets him get to this Agent 9 minigame a lot faster. Then he's also right next to, it's just really convenient because then he's right next to the slide, he's right next to the tanks. It's a really good way to get some quick eggs. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's super convenient that just one small little jump can just open up the path for the whole level like that. Yeah, I guess in any percent standpoint, yeah, you're really looking at the fact that you get some quality eggs in 117. You don't have to waste as much time unlocking doors and whatnot. You can just have nice easy paths to all the gems.
I see. I am a.
I was going to use the railing there to lose just a tiny bit of speed so it doesn't fall off the side. Falling off the side of that slide is pretty easy to do. Spyro's little slide wiggles, yeah. So he's gonna have to wait for all these guys to throw a lot of these things so he can use them to blow up the sarcophagi and kill the guys themselves. Kind of unfortunate. It'd be a really good way to, like, you know, utilize that purple power-up storage he did back in Evening Lake. He's also doing a really good job of waiting until they throw him another rock before he kills them, so he can continuously keep a rock on hand.
The riddle.
So before he finishes up the level, he's gonna come over here, solve the really hard riddle, and then do some tank mini games. Tank mini games, you can strafe with R1 and L1, and then you can either do straight shots or you can do lob shots. House make a incredibly short work of that first tank game. A nice job here, nice. Can be tough sometimes trying to predict, you know, do I have to wait for them to pop out? Can I clip them with a shot? Is he gonna go left, right? Is he gonna do a lob shot? But usually you can kind of bait them with which direction you go. You can kind of shoot one way and turn the other direction. You can kind of bait them into your shots. Also, let's just do a little more of these rocks. The sarcophagus here at the beginning. Taking a little unfortunate hit there, not a big deal. And then just finish off these big guys and get the rest of the gems. Getting a little bullied by the rocks there, not a huge deal. Yeah, the rocks falling from the ceiling can be huge bullies sometimes. Ooh, unfortunately, having to backtrack a little bit here. Missing one little 5. Oh no, he's still missing 3 gems. He's gonna have to keep backtracking. House, where have your 3 gems gone? I do not know how that 2 gem did not hone into when he got on the ladder. There we go. Even at max range, Sparks can miss stuff sometimes. He might have just got on the ladder too quickly, and then Sparks wasn't going to go down there and get it once you're on the ladder. So it's time for some Dino Mines. Now, if you were here during the Spyro 1 120% run, you may remember that they... Wow, Sparks didn't like that 5 gem at all. You may remember that they replaced all the guns in Twilight Harbor with platoon guns. Well, they kept the guns in Dino Mines, but they shoot hot dogs. I don't. I don't know. Trying to figure it out myself. It's like when we get to the turret, the Triceratops on the turret, watch what they shoot. If you can see them, they're gonna be a little small. They're straight up like hot dogs. Because they can't have guns that shoot bullets. I don't know about the green ones because they shoot so fast you can't really see what they're shooting. I would imagine it's the same like sausage bullet that they put in the Triceratops turrets. Yeah, I'd love to know what they're like. Is underwater dinos okay? Norks with guns was not okay. Maybe if the Norks were underwater, they'd get to shoot a bullet. Yeah, I think the green dinos shoot like pellets too. It's just the turrets that are like the sausages. There we go. We got a good shot of it right there. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. So an interesting fun fact. So the console game, the game in general has a in-game timer. I believe Nos did some deep digging and found it under the title speedrun timer. Funny enough, I've heard that the in-game timer does not run right now. In the tunnels in Seashell Shore and Dino Mines, the in-game timer pauses. Speedrun timer. Yo, Night Shift, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. We're finishing up here with House's 117% run. He's been doing an amazing job so far. Yeah, it stops during dialogue if you're talking to any NPC. It stops on the it stops on the cannons in Icy Peak. It's all over the place. It's the most hilarious speedrun timer I've ever seen. Like, the Norks in Twilight Harbor couldn't have guns, but like, that guy just says straight up dynamite. The green dinos definitely have guns. Don't understand it. Tasha's just gonna go back through here. He's got another egg to get. Gotta clean up some gems. So you can see that gem count's getting pretty high. We're closing in on the end of it here. That the extended sparks there, I always love you can just pull that 10 gem through the window. And just like that, we're done with Dino Mines. We still have a speedway to do. We still got to go through Harbor Speedway, which is where we should be headed next. The gem counts finally lined up at the end of the run. Perfect. This is a good spot where one of the speedways where we actually get to do multiple things at the same time, unlike the routing in some of the other ones. I do like the models in this speedway though. The birds and the lobster guys. Better than the cows in Country Speedway. Oh, I think House is trying to get under that archway, because if you're under an object, you get to cut off Spyro's like twirling up animation. I think he just missed that. All right, let's go see what Hunter's up to today. What a surprise. Animals from space again. Clock is on the job. Alright, we have our time attack done. We have our hunter game done. You know what time it is. It's race time. Yeah, Faulty's abusing his powers here. Hal's doing an excellent job here managing getting all these blue stars he can to get the maximum speed to get out in first place. House also showing the sheer disrespect, flaming every single bird as he passes it. Oh, unfortunately, hitting that rock there, gonna miss one of those blue stars. It's fine though. He is in no threat of losing first place. Just gonna lose a little bit of time on that. Let's see if he gets his revenge here. Nice. All right, he got that star that time. He redeemed it. Thought he was gonna miss that last order for a second there. He was going so fast. There we are, 149 eggs. I think it's time we see the maximum amount of jank this game has to offer. Super bonus round. So I don't think anything's gonna top the professor in Agent 9. Beautiful damage abuse there. That was perfect. Getting himself over to this portal early. Having a little difficulties for these sheep saucers. He's getting there though. Yeah, it's nice that he can do that. That thief is just not having it. It's nice about being able to do that damage abuse early, is he's able to use that fireball to kill those thieves, which is really nice. See if he can get this one here. Perfect.
I just wanted to.
Shot's getting a little stopped by that one tower there. That he might be able to get this sub on the way through. No, he's gonna have to wait for the lock on. There we go.
Check it out. Right.
Time for a good old skateboard race. House is just doing what he can, trying to get all of the gems he can within the 3 laps. He's gonna take each alternate path as he can to get them. Oh no, okay. Going back, getting that 5 gem. Even the crash animations just like look kind of silly. Good race. Nothing too crazy happening there. Like I said, I don't think anything's topping the professor. See, the fortunate thing about Spire 3 doing Sorceress a little early over Spire 2 doing early Rip though, is the run still gets to end on the Sorceress. Not ending on some random speedway. And there it is, time. I think it's time actually right there. GG to DrHouse. That was a really good run.
Really good, amazing run. It's a shame about what I saw happen with the professor at Agent 9, though. It's such a shame to see that. What was going on with that? What was the professor doing? Was he just like...
That's some classic SRT jank right there. Sometimes he just doesn't talk to you, and you have to just reset the whole level.
Classic jank. Jank, man. Just can't get enough of it within this game, I swear. Awesome stuff, though, House. And again, thank you so much, Zic, for the commentary as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff. 3:15:49 on the RTA for that. Brilliant. Awesome. So, shall we wait until we get the IGT out of that, or shall we keep on moving on from that?
I think we're good. I think we can start getting ready for the relay race. You excited, Nost?
Oh boy, am I. I've already got the MBS runners feed here just ready to... They're already ready, I say. Well, they're ready, getting practiced, all of them in their respective colors as well. Everyone will see what will happen when that happens, of course. So see the final IGT time 2:37:54. So brilliant. Right, so we'll wrap this up then, folks. Thank you so much, House, for doing the SRT 3, and thank you so much, Zic, for obviously a commentary for this. So, folks, that would be it for our main completionist categories for today. What we have next, as Zic has just said, we have the SRT any percent relay, which will be of the any percent no major skips trifecta, where each team, you have 3 teams. You'll have Team Ripto, Team Nasty, and Team Sorceress. You have 1 person doing a leg on each doing Spyro 1, any percent, no balloonist skip, Spyro 2, 40 orb, and Spyro 3, any percent. And we'll hopefully get all of this done within around about 3 hours, 15 minutes estimate. Alrighty, folks, so we'll give you a little bit of a break to get everyone ready and set up, and you'll be back with Zic, Randy, and I for a bit of commentary for this. Alrighty, we'll see you all in a short moment.